I'm sure you all remember little Idris, the little monkey that was shot 7 times, suffering concussion, especially from the one in his head. Well, this is Idris's story of recovery to release.
So just cleaning Idris's head. Looks a little unconventional, but he's comfortable and he's letting me do it. So not the easiest way to clean a head wound, but the best thing is he's letting me do it and I don't have to hold him. Which, as I hold him, Zach wants to help, which I'll admit is not the most helpful. So I'm just trying to get this scab off to see if there's any pus underneath. Oh, thanks, Zach. Ah, there we go. There we go. Lots of pus.
Well, it's essential that there's no build-up of pus in these little wounds, especially from the pellets and in the head, because otherwise that's going to cause a lot of pressure. And that's what Becky was doing, just making sure that everything is able to drain properly and that it doesn't have any pressure. But you can see little Idris is doing a lot better, a lot more awake now, and getting around in comparison what he was in the very first episode. So his recovery is doing well. Still has sleeping quite a bit, which is very, very important. It does give the brain and everything like this chance to mend. You can still see some of the little scabs and everything on his body from where the other shots were. The other problem area was his little leg. We're not too sure. We can't really get the pellets out at the moment, and we don't want to actually take him back and set him back a while if we have to do any surgery. So it's not impeding him in any way. So it looks like it's going to be okay to release him with those pellets still lodged into the little one's body.
So this is Idris. He is about to be moved over to this bigger enclosure very soon. He has been in the smaller cage for a while and he's doing absolutely fantastic. As you can see, he can move around just well.
It looks a little bit frustrated that there's not much space.
Absolutely.
He'll probably be happier with a bigger cage, won't he?
He will be so much happier. Also that will show us how he's moving when he has more space, which is the last step of his rehabilitation progress. But we can already see in the smaller space that he is actually using all his limbs really fine. He knows something is up. He's a little bit nervous. But yeah, we're very excited for him to move very, very soon.
Yeah.
This is the intricate we are preparing for Idris. He's moving fine. So we have built this intricate with a lot of different branches and a nice little perch with thick blankets so he doesn't get cold at night. We know that he's moving fine. So now we want to see how he's doing in a larger enclosure after he has been in a small crash cage for quite a while. So now we want to move him and then monitor how he's moving. So let's see, and if he's doing really fine, we can release him in back to the wild. So yeah, now it's the last step of his integration. Let's see how it goes. So Idris has moved to the larger area and he's now getting familiar with it. He's a little bit nervous and unsure about everything. So he will need a little bit of time to get used to it. For us it's really important to see how he moves around so that we can determine if he can be released and if he can go back to his family.
So as Hannah has been filling you in, Idris is doing extremely well. He's a little bit shy of his new enclosure at the moment, but it is important for us to make sure that he can climb up and down properly, that he can go and get his food and drink, water and everything like this with no problem at all. You can see he is very, very aware of what's going on, so he is scared of people. He doesn't like everybody so much. Little arm is giving a little bit of trouble there, so he's not using that as much, but his legs seem to be going, which we were worried about, especially the one leg. But he is managing to get around with no problem. climbing up and down, having a look at the other monkeys outside, which is great. And he's getting so close. We've just got to start now finding out what time his troop comes around, and we can start making preparations to try and find little Idris's troop and see if we can get him back out there as soon as possible. Well, as you can see, that's one happy little monkey, really interested in his surroundings and everything at the moment. So our next step now is we're going to move him into another enclosure, which is called the sunshine enclosure. So this gives him a little bit more exposure to outside. He can actually see some of the bandits or the wild troop running around. Gives him a little bit of a possibility to interact. Although sometimes with these wild ones, because just remember it hasn't been too long that he's actually come from his own troop, he might show a little bit of fear of the other monkeys, because as you should all know about by now, is troops don't really mix, they fight each other. So one does have to show a little bit of precaution, but it's in his next phase and we'll see how he's going to do there. So out exploring in the sunshine cage. So this cage is specially designed sometimes for a little bit of the older monkeys and things like this, so they can actually come out and get the vital sun that they need, and also be able to see around and what's actually going on. So it is a very nice little recovery enclosure. So it has access to inside and outside. So if they are a little bit frightened, you can see there's a little gate there on the right hand side that he can actually go through the gate, and then he'll be inside the main sick bay area. But if he wants to, he can stay on the outside and see what's going on. So this is like really the final steps now, and then possibly to go over to Disneyland. And once we've seen that he's been able to run around there, we'll possibly be having a look at getting him out and back out into the wild.
So we're just moving Idris into Disneyland. So we're gonna paint in here.
Well, we're having to move little Idris now over to Disneyland. Also not just for his own good, but part of the 30-year revamp. We're busy cleaning up our sick bay area, getting ready for the next baby season. So we're basically going to be repainting the floors, the enclosures, making sure there's no rust or anything like that. So we have Luna and Camilla taking little Idris down to the Disneyland, where he can settle in a little bit. He might meet some other monkeys for a little while, as we can't have anybody in sick bay for the next week or two, which is putting a little bit of pressure on us. But we have to get all of this stuff done before baby season. Basically because it's going to be starting very, very shortly. There's already little ones being born out in the wild, and it's not going to take too long before we probably have our first cases coming in. Of course, it's no easy task lugging these crush cages around. So you do get a little bit of exercise on the job, and of course learning a little bit of maneuverability to get them in and out of the enclosures.
Here we go. Good job.
Perfect.
Well, Idris very curious of his new surroundings, and as all his faculties are there now, he's not suffering from concussion. He'll basically be calling and looking for his troop, and very interested in any monkeys or anything running around to see if he belongs to any of them.
Close to the second stop. Yeah. Amazing. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Probably can't believe his luck with all this amazing food that's coming his way, because just remember, out in the wild, he's not going to get anything close to this or the quantities at all. He's actually going to have to fight a little bit to get the food that he wants, where here it's getting dished up on it. So of course he's stuffing his little mouth as full as he can, just in case he doesn't get the opportunity to get such nice food again. As you can see, little Zach's getting involved in everybody's rehabilitation at the moment, and he's sort of come across to see how things are going with Idris. Idris, as you can see, is not really interested at all, which is kind of strange. Hasn't made any moves towards Zach, or even pretended he's there. Normally you would have thought there would have been some kind of interaction, or him saying like, "Who are you?" or making a noise because it's a strange monkey. Zach's not really worried about any of this and not taking it. He says, "Hey, who you?" And he seems to be a lot more interested in what's going on around him and who this new person is. I suppose if one does think about it, it is to this little new one, Idris, this is a strange monkey, and he'd wonder why he's actually coming and playing near the troop area. While on the other hand, Zach, because of his mental capacity at the moment, isn't really too sure, and he's basically happy to see any other monkeys around in the vicinity. You actually can see how well little Zach is actually getting on. If you also remember from what he was like initially, also these turns that he's doing aren't as frequent anymore, but he is fully aware of his situation and his circumstances. He's getting around very, very nicely, visiting other monkeys where he can, as you can see, and participating in everything. So at least we know everything of his is basically working properly. It's just these movements and things that have to come right a little bit more, and are going to take time. It is posing a little bit of a problem because we need to find out where we can place little Zach, where he's going to be most comfortable and possibly can progress. So there is even a possibility that some stage that he might be able to be reintroduced to one of the troops. We don't say he's going to be released back into the wild yet. He hasn't recovered that well, but possibly good enough to actually go and stay in one of the other troops that we've got. He has a little bit outgrown cuddy enclosure, unfortunately, because little Zach has got the ability to climb and jump around, and we don't want to impede that, because Cuddy's enclosure is made that these guys can't climb up very high, so it's not going to be fair. So something we just got to also pay attention to and watch in the process.
Idris has moved to Disneyland because we are going to paint sick bay, and therefore we need to clear out sick bay. Idris is cautious as usual, so I've given him a camel foot seed pod to distract him and to make it easier for him to get accustomed to the new environment. Zach came over once, very briefly. Zach isn't quite sure what to think of Idris, and Idris didn't quite acknowledge Zach. So at the moment they're still a little bit keeping their distance from each other. Not quite sure what to think of each other. But yeah, so Idris will stay in here while we're painting, and we hope to be able to release him very, very soon. Tomorrow he will go to the vet for a final check-up, and then we will see when we actually can release him. So this is Luna. She just brought out Idris. Can we say hi to Idris?
Yep.
Where's his face?
I don't know. He'll be in there somewhere. Yep, coming.
Simon is going to take it, and he's going to be released back to his wild. And we are very excited for it. We need to hurry because of the monkeys, so his troop were just seen. So there we go.
And his food. Bye, Idris.
Bye, Idris.
Have fun.
Finger crossed. Bye. All the best in the wild.
Yay.
Well, we've just turned into the area where Idris basically comes from. This is where his troop really lives. Just have a look how beautiful this area is. So this is one of the part of the town of Zanin. These are big fever trees, these nice green looking trees that you see. It's one of the favorites of the monkeys, planted all over the place. There's a lot of indigenous bush or indigenous trees in this area. They carry from figs to different kind of berries and everything, and very old trees that actually have been here for hundreds and hundreds of years. So the town, they didn't chop all of these down, and now this has become kind of an oasis in the middle of all of these fruit trees, the avocados and the pawpaws and the bananas, where the monkeys can't get any food. So they're actually forced into these beautiful areas of the town. Just down the bottom here, sort of like a beautiful riverine area that crosses over one of the main motorways that the monkeys use as a bypass coming through. So I've just spotted a male monkey over there in that fig tree. It's a beautiful fig tree up the top there. So we've got to try and stop as quickly as we can, get this little one off the back. Unfortunately, a lot of times these little monkeys or the troop is very, very frightened, especially when they've been shot at. So we have to be fairly quick. We can't get too close because otherwise we scare the troop away. So the object here is just to try and get the little one out as close as where they are. I don't think you can see the big male in the tree there. Is sort of close to the crook of the tree there, is crossing over that one branch, but it is a little bit far away at the moment. So I've just got Simon climbing out the back there, quickly taking the little one to the other side of the road, and we'll just open the little cage and just see how things go. So the first sign is always the big male. So what I try and do is I have a look in the trees around to see for a male, because he'd be actually guarding what's actually gone, what's actually going on around the area. And then of course he'll come down to see what's happening while we're busy with the little one. Sorry, I just missed. Simon was a little bit too quick for me letting the little guy out, but he's run across to that tree with the red leaves on the other side there, and he's busy climbing up that tree and calling for his mom and everyone. There the rest come. And that's basically it. In the flash of an eye, it's almost over. There's the male that was taking up the back end, just guarding to make sure everybody's okay and that they're all out of the way. And then he's the last one to leave now that he sees everything safe and he's happy. Well, we were really fortunate as a family who reported this little one and probably saved his life. Managed to film him after the release, coming back into their garden with the rest of their family. Even one of the mothers with a little baby for this year. So it's looking positive, and they're going to keep an eye out on Idris for us. So I hope you enjoyed this release. It's quite a great moment for us. One of the highlights of working with these animals is basically getting them back from where we found them, getting them back to their mom and family, and just watching them live little monkey lives all over again. So we wish the best for little Idris, and we hope he has a long life out there and nobody else goes to shoot him. Thank you for watching. Thank you for being part of it. Till next week.